first fruits. That's another common thing for number two. And then there's seeds. These three are three of the most common talking points when it comes to giving time within a service of these type of churches that push and squeeze people to give. They use seed, first fruits. First fruits is limited because you can only, if you want to push it, you can say first fruits of the month, for those that are pushing the, like trying to be more frequent, or most of the time it's first fruits of the year. But if you get smart, I guess you could do first fruits of the month, try to like make it, first everything
recurring.
Recurring. You gotta make it recurring for it to flow. But yeah, those are the main three. We're gonna get into him going into the seed. So let's see what he says about giving
this
a
is what
seed.
I feel led of God to challenge a minimum of 50 individuals. I'm always the first. There's 50 of us that the Spirit of the Lord is challenging based upon that which we've heard today to plant a seed of $100. Now listen, I used to think $100 was a whole lot of money, y'all. I used to think $100 was a whole lot of money. Some of y'all gonna spend $100 to go get dinner today. I want us to make sure that we seed into this oil. There's others that are going to give 50, 20, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. Not a dollar. Because I teach here, nothing multiplied by one gives increase. 1 times 1 is 1. 1 times 10 is 10. 1 times 100 is 100. If you want increase in your life, you got to give God something he can multiply.
Wow. So basically he said God can't multiply $1. God can multiply everything else but $1. And that's what he says. So God is limited. It's a couple things, man. A couple things here. Now this is a thing that I've seen as well. Growing up, is they'll call on people to first. It's almost like a raffle, or not a raffle, but when you auction, you're auctioning off numbers. I need 10 people to give 1,000. And then from the 1,000 you go to 500. From 500 you go to 200, 200, 100. Down the line, you see these type of sowing the seed, and they use seed. Who's gonna give this seed? So they build this thing of like, okay, you're the one that's gonna sow this big seed. This is the biggest seed we're calling on for the night. Who's gonna be one of the ones out of the 10 to sow the big seed? And what I've seen over the years is that you feel good to be one of those people. So now they're now they're working with people's ego, pride, to like, I'm one of the ones that every seed song, I'm the one that do the first, the highest bid, right? So it gives you this kind of thing like, oh yeah, come up with your seed if you want to sow 1,000. So it's like they make these type of seed sowing events not only to get a certain amount of money, but it also makes the person that's giving that in those higher numbers feel good as well. Notice how it's always a certain amount of people. I need 10 people or 50 people. They know what they're doing when they say, oh, I need 50 people to do this. They're doing the math. Like, I'm pretty sure they calculated the numbers on the number call outs of what the giving is and how many people they want to give. He said 50 people with $100. 50 times 100. What's that? 5,000?
Yeah.
5,000 off the rip. And he probably has hundreds of members that goes to that church. So the numbers can get pretty nice into the tens of thousands. You know what I'm saying? Off of that one seed song. We ain't even talking about offering and tithes. This is just seed, And so people think, and this is how they get you as well, is that to sow a seed because of the parable of the sower. They multiply it, and they manipulate and take that out of context and say, yeah, if you sow a seed, God's gonna multiply it, when actually the people in there worked out their seed or worked out their talent, which is money, and they did things with it. You know what I'm saying? God didn't just magically, oh, you put it under the ground, I'm gonna make it grow. Nah, they use they use what they had, and they use them, the mind to figure out how to multiply it. So it's manipulation. If you don't read, you're gonna suffer. Lord tells us in His Word, my people suffer for lack of knowledge. Like, it's many different ways you can suffer because you don't know or you don't have knowledge about something. Let's not be stuck on, one thing here. There's a lot of stuff people suffer from. Diet. We can go a whole laundry list. But the point I'm trying to bring out here is that they would take parts of the scripture and try to mold it into the story that they want to tell. Take a seed, God's going to multiply it. They say all these nice words with it that make it sound so well put together. You'll definitely not doubt it's in the Bible, of how they explain their story. But when you look into it, the way that they put it, Bible don't say nothing about that. It's a whole different story from what they were telling you, versus what the Bible actually says. So, that's another way that they get you with giving these things, is that they tell you they know people want to have more money or want to, be successful in the financial area. So they're going to get you to give, thinking that because you give, that's why the increase is coming, because you just give. But there's a lot of scriptures out there that tells us how we're supposed to give, that will actually that God actually blesses, like how we actually give in certain ways that will bless us, rather than giving to a man or giving to a building, expecting, just off of that, you to get wealthy. You know what I'm saying? Did you have anything that you wanted to?
Yeah, I have many things. Going back previously to when he talked about he would prefer for the pastor to be doing one shift instead of two shifts, because the pastor wants to get there when they get there. He don't want to get there earlier and then leave later when they're getting there for an hour, 2 hours for church. The pastor wants to be in and out. So the pastor wants to do one shift a week. One shift of Sunday service a week instead of two. Mind you, a pastor's sole job is to feed the flock. How many shifts does it take to feed a flock? You know that joke they say, how many
licks,
blah blah blah, does it take? How many people does it take to change a light bulb? Like that kind of joke.
Oh,
right. Yeah. Hold on. What?